quiet, please. Thank you. Welcome to the 2013 Candidate Forum for Farmington Township Trustee. Can we all stand and pledge allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First, I'll go over the rules very quickly. The order of presentation was determined by a random draw as in who's going to begin, and then it'll be like a round robin as we go, so everyone will have a chance to go first. Each candidate will begin with 2 minutes for an opening statement. All candidates are asked to strictly observe the time limits. You have a timekeeper over there to help you. She has cards to warn you when you're at 30 seconds, 15 seconds, and when to stop. And when time is up, you need to stop, because if you continue to talk, she's going to drown you out, okay, so that we keep it fair for all the candidates. Handwritten questions are to be generated from the audience during the forum. There's cards and pencils in the back for you to put your questions on. If you raise your hand with the card, we have ladies that will pick up the card, take it to the forum so that they can review it. They're going to edit, combine questions. They'll come up with the final questions. All of the questions will be for all of the candidates to answer. Okay. Each candidate's going to have 1 minute to respond to the question, or they can choose to use that minute to continue to respond to a previous question. Each candidate will then have 2 minutes to close for their closing statement. Please hold all of your applause until the end of the forum to save time. The quicker this moves along, the more questions we're going to be able to ask. Disruptive behavior will not be tolerated. If anyone acts in a disruptive manner, they'll be asked to leave immediately. And then refreshments are going to be served at the end of the forum. Okay? So now we'll begin with candidate number 1, David Bland's opening statement. You have to talk pretty close to it.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody that's here for coming to the forum. I'd also like to thank Shirley for assembling the forum. A little history on myself. I've been a Farmington resident all my life with my wife Karen, my son John, and my daughter Andrea. I served in the Farmington Volunteer Fire Department 28 years on the fire department. 15 of those years were the office of captain. My priorities for being township trustee are as follows. I'd like to look at maintaining township road upgrades, drainage, and ditching through federal or state funding if possible. I'd like to maintain the cemetery grounds on a bi-weekly or a weekly basis as needed. I'd like to talk briefly about the fire department. I'd like to address the manpower issue that we have currently by holding an open house to explain the parameters and requirements to be a fireman. It takes a minimum of 120 hours to a max of 240 hours just to maintain the state requirements. The other issue I'd like to do is talk a little bit about the paramedics. Currently we have 3 paramedics on staff, and in the spring of 2014, Mr. Hartleroad will graduate and be our 4th paramedic. I believe that is quite an accomplishment for a small volunteer fire department. In regards to that, I would like to look into some type of staffing, at least 1 firefighter or possibly 1 paramedic. Thirdly, if our manpower does not increase due to the hours and availability of people, are joint districts a possibility if our manpower doesn't increase? Thank you very much, and I will look at serving the issues that I just explained.
Next will be Kevin Bontrager.
My name is Kevin Bontrager. I'm a lifetime resident of Farmington. My wife and I have 4 children. We are the owners of the local grocery store. We've been in business for about 7.5 years now. My main priorities, looking into the future for our town, one of the big issues is definitely the roads. Ditching has been an issue for a lot of years. It's been neglected for a lot of years because we didn't have the equipment to do it. We need to work with the county to get a lot of that done. The fire department and EMS is an ongoing issue, especially with the volunteer system, because of the hours required. It's hard to get volunteers that are willing to work for nothing and go to school and do all the training. It's just hard to make ends meet or take time out of their regular jobs and their families to do that. So I think we need to look at other options that are available that other towns are doing. There's a pay-per-call program that is available that can be done to offset a little bit of it, make it a little bit easier, and maybe draw some more people into the fire department. The EMS, I think, down the road, we are definitely going to be looking at a full-time crew, whether it's joint with other departments, would probably be the best way to go. I know there are a couple other townships in the area that are looking at the same possibility, so if we work with them, we could have full staffing between the departments day. The cemetery issues that we have right now, we've taken care of a lot of it, I think, over the last few years. I would like to put in place a digitized system so that our records can be kept on computer, updated regularly. So we'll have records of all the deeds and such that we've taken care of that way. There's not too much of a cost up front. It'll just be a lot of man-hours of data entry and old records that will be clear. Thank you.
Next, we have Steve Burbach.
Welcome, my fellow Farmington residents. My name is Steve Burbach, and I'm here tonight to get your vote for trustee. My family moved here when I was 2 years old, and I've lived here ever since. Going to Farmington School, and I participated in as many things as possible at the school. Even became student council president, which I was voted in by the whole student body. I have a small business here in Farmington since 1985, and I started a second business in 2005. I have a beautiful wife and 3 wonderful children, and I'm proud to say we live in Farmington. My whole family and parents, sisters, nieces, nephew, all call Farmington home. My first priority, if I was elected as trustee, is our fire department, making sure they have everything they need for the safety of the firemen and the firewomen and the citizens of Farmington. I don't think we need a full-time fire department, but a part-time with an incentive plan to get more volunteers is what we need. Maybe tax breaks or response pay with a higher pay for first tone response responders. Seconds mean lives. Second priority is getting our road department back. Maybe we save some money putting the road department out there, but was it money well saved? And now our township garage, it looks like a dump. I'm sorry. And the answer I keep getting about the recycle bins is get rid of them. We need to keep the recycle bins down there. And getting our road department back, that's one of the answers. Keeping the gates open during the day, closing at night and everything. And also, if I'm elected trustee, I would like to work with the village council and the mayor's office and work with the town, the village. you know, getting the roads plowed, the cemeteries taken care of, which is the township. The mowing of the grass, snow plowing, the roads in town, working with them. Keeping all the parks and everything going on. And I'm done.
Next, we have John Spelich.
Welcome, nice to be here. John Spelich is my name. Been in township for over 40 years. Was your township trustee for over 20 years. Retired from the Trumbull County Sheriff's Office about 5.5, 6 years ago. Re-employed myself with the court over at Newton Falls as a chief security officer and deputy bailiff. I agree with these gentlemen here already, okay? We're looking at safer roads, safer streets, more fire and paramedics within the township. What we have to do is figure out how to do that, okay? I've been with a number of townships, Southington, Bristol, Newton Township, and over in Parkman Township. And they have ideas already in stride that are working for their townships and working with other townships. Now, when I was township trustee, we did have a road crew, and we had our road crew along with Southington, Bristol, and Mesco, and we maintained our own roads. Okay, we had our own grader at that time, and we had the manpower and equipment right within our limits right there. As far as police protection, I'm good friends with the Trumbull County Sheriff. I'm talking with him on a program to get moving with the township, the village, and so forth. So if I'm elected, I'll bring those programs forward to you. Thank you.
Next, we have Debbie Gotschall.
Hello, I'm Debbie Gotschall. I'm the daughter of the late Joe and Howard Turon. I've been here all my life. I love this community, and I'd like to see things come back to our community, as in our road crew, and like some of the other gentlemen have said, I agree with them. I won't stand here and make promises. The only thing I promise is I want to work with people. I want to work with trustees who are in office as a group to try to move forward and get things back and put back forth what we need for our community. We do need our roads taken care of. There are a lot of things we can do with our roads. We can get a lot of grants, and we need to work on that. It will help a lot with things up at the park, also with our fire department. I'm sorry I didn't write all this stuff down. And we can get grants for different things we need. If the fire department would like to get a instrument for thermal imaging, I think that would be a nice thing that we could work with to help them get that instead of having to wait for a response from another fire department. It would be great for them to have that. Our roads, there are several things we can do with our roads to help improve them, but we have to keep them maintained. If we don't maintain them, they're not going to work. I don't know what else to say, but I hope you all have a good night here. Thank you.
Next, we have Jim Svoboda.
Almost. Hey, I'm Jim Svoboda. I've lived around here all my life. Been a trustee for 12 years and worked in the cemetery mostly, selling graves and trying to take care of it. We got Steve Swinterman. He takes care of all the mowing. Before we had our guys take care of the mowing. But our guys tend to they go up north and eat at the sawmill and take a couple hours break, you know. You can't have that. We need to keep the people in town. But since we've changed over to the county, they've really helped us. They have a Gotschall. Anytime you call them, they'll be out. The worst road that we have is Ensign Road. And if it rains, you can go down there and you can see the water coming up. It's like clay. And that's because those roads were built when the Indians were there. The Indians used to use that to go to Walmart. You know what I mean? So we do have to have some, we need some support there for that. So to do that right, you would have to put a good base underneath. And it takes a lot of money to do that. But we do have a nice community and we need to keep it this way. That's my theory. So, how much time I got?
32 seconds.
Oh, that's bad. But anyway, I appreciate all you guys. I appreciate your vote. I'll do the best I can for you. I can't promise everything because I'm not that smart. But I will keep my word. Thank you.
And next we have Martha Yoder.
Good evening. I'm Martha Yoder. I've owned my own business for almost 20 years. It's a small business, so I wear lots of hats. I work directly with my clients, I manage the finances and all the personnel matters, and because of the nature of my business, I am required to maintain the responsibility for I have the responsibility for maintaining lots of government regulations for obeying those. My experience in running my business has more than prepared me to be a good trustee. I'm running for trustee because I care about this community. I've lived here 24 years, not nearly as long as some of you, I know, but this is home. Farmington is a good town with good people who deserve better government than they've been getting. When people run for office, they often make promises. If those of us who are up here tonight are honest, we know that we can't promise very much because Farmington, quite frankly, doesn't have very much. We have a small tax base, due in large part because the state owns so much property here. In spite of that, I think I can make a few promises. I will work as hard as I can to make the most of what we do have. I won't waste. I will look for and pursue grants and any other opportunities I can find to make our money go as far as it will. I will make sure that what we do as trustees is open and transparent. I will be accessible and available. I can't do everything for everyone. I can't give everyone everything that they want. But I can give everyone courtesy, respect, and cooperation. And I will do that. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, now we're going to begin with the questions. And the first question, which Kevin Bontrager will begin this time, is, in the past year, how many trustee meetings have you attended and why?
I'm the current trustee, so I've attended all but 2 meetings this year. I missed 2 in the past year. Those are the only 2 I've missed in the 4 years as trustee.
Next to answer the question is Steve Burbach.
I've been to, I believe, 4 trustee meetings here, the last 4, and I'm just trying to get, ready and prepared to see what's going on, for the chance that I do get elected to serve the people, so I have an idea what's going on. So, 4.
Next is John Spelich.
As I look back, probably two meetings, and one of the meetings was with the engineer and his problems, and the township going to contract services. And that's really about it. I really saw no need to go to meetings with the current board. Thank you.
Next to answer the question is Debbie Gotschall.
For last year, I think I missed one. I started going a year and a half ago because I wanted to get interested in this, because I wanted to run for trustee and understand what's going on and to see what we can find out where we need to go with. That's about it. Thank you.
Next is Jim Svoboda.
I haven't missed a meeting since I was elected, period, in 12 years. There's a lot, if you miss a meeting, you miss a lot of knowledge, but you have to stay with it. That's all I got to say.
Next.
Thank you, sir.
Next to answer the question is Martha Yoder.
I started attending meetings about a year and a half ago, just because I felt that I needed as a citizen to be more informed and more involved. During the last year and a half, I think I've missed 2 meetings. I know I missed 1 or 2 because I was getting ready for a mission trip to Guatemala, and the team meetings were the same nights as the trustee meetings, but I've been to most of them in the last year and a half.
Thank you. On to the next question, and Steve Burbach will answer first. What do you think is the township's most valuable asset, and how would you use it to increase economic growth? Oh, I'm sorry. You started in the Oh, I apologize. Thanks for keeping track of me, folks.
Yeah, I've only attended 1 trustee meeting this year due to work hours, but it was not for lack of interest in the township or the community, and it is my apology that I haven't been there.
And I apologize, Dave, for skipping you. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Okay, so now we're on to the next question. And Steve will answer first. And I will end with Kevin this time, okay? What do you think is the township's most valuable asset, and how would you use it to increase economic growth and/or township revenues?
Our best asset is the people that live here. If we get everybody to work together, we can do whatever we want. There's a lot of small businesses in this town, and if everybody works together and put our heads together, we can do a lot more things in Farmington. A lot of small businesses, there's buggy shops and everything, and trying to support these local places too. But our best asset is us. Thank you.
Next is John Spelich.
Thank you. Good answer. He hit it right on the nose, and I agree with him. And going a little bit further than that, once you have these small businesses, I think we could probably catapult off of those into more of an economic development type situation. Start your own organization, such as a whatever, you know, and I can't think of the word now, excuse me. But then we move on from there. Thank you.
Next, we have Debbie Gotschall.
No. They're interesting. They're very interesting. It is. It's our community. Our community is our biggest asset. And to grow up with that and help each other out, and everybody coming to the trustees, and if you have issues or problems, to be able to move on and grow from it. Get more growth in here, more industry. If we could get industry in here, we'd be fantastic and work along with possibly the village when they're getting the sewage system in. It would be nice to be able to grow off of that and maybe get more in here and build our community better.
Next
I believe that the most important thing right now going is the senior citizen building, because that's all Farmington has right now. You shut that down, you don't have anything. The people that do go there, they're elderly people, they enjoy going there. We need to keep that, that's number one. I believe that if you shut that down, that would hurt a lot of people. And I think we need to keep that going. I don't know what else to say about the roads is going to be an issue until we're dead, unless we get some big money. And we don't have that kind of money. So.
Next, we have Martha Yoder.
I have to agree with those who say our people are our greatest asset. I think what John was looking for was Chamber of Commerce.
There we go.
and I think that's a great idea. And I think that's a great idea. As a matter of fact, I went to a chamber meeting this morning in Middlefield, and I thought, we don't have a local chamber, and that's a great idea. As trustees, what can we do to encourage that, to encourage our community? We can be more open and transparent. We can encourage people to come to meetings. We can encourage people talking about what's going on in our town. We can have an official website that would have the things that people need so that they wouldn't be ignorant of what's going on. I think that we can encourage, the more we encourage folks to be involved, the better our community will be. And we have good people here, like I mentioned. So I think we're off to a good start because we're all here tonight.
Now we have David Bland.
I also think businesses and people are very valuable to the community. If you look back over the years, my dad's old place, on a Saturday I can remember the streets being lined full from 2nd Street to 3rd Street, just with business people. I think the secret is, if you look at Kevin's business, he started to take Dad's old store over. If you look at the list cart rate, if you look at the hardware, it's starting to trend back that way. I think with the sewage coming in, that will be a big plus. At one time, I believe we had at least 15 businesses in Farmington, and I think now we're down to 4 or 5. But I think with the people that we have in Farmington, we can make this all happen again. Thank you.
And next, we have Kevin Bontrager.
I think it's definitely the people that are the main asset we have in our community, and the small businesses are a help, and getting them organized would be a big help, having a chamber of commerce or a small business organization. But also, I think just the people in general, we need to start getting together more often as groups, be it the village meeting with the township people, the fire department, the VFW. We all need to get involved with all the groups more, instead of being separate entities all the time.
Okay, our next question, and John Spelich will begin. What is the current state of the fire department? Who is responsible to maintain the fire department building and senior center? How can the senior center and trustees work better together?
Okay, John?
The overall operation belongs to the Board of Trustees. Okay, the senior center has a advisory group along with the trustees. And first question again, please.
What is the current state of the fire department?
It's manageable. We are happy to have almost 4 paramedics. We got 3 and we're going to have 4. We have EMTs, we have firefighters. We need more volunteers. How to get those volunteers, I'll tell you what. You get me in there and we'll get an ad hoc committee together. We'll see what other townships are doing and entities, and we'll go that way. Anything else?
I think it says who is responsible to maintain the fire department building / senior center.
That'd be the board of township trustees and the advisory council with the center itself. But overall, it's the board of township trustees.
Okay, next is Debbie Gotschall. Sure, I can repeat it. What is the current state of the fire department? Who is responsible to maintain the fire department building / senior center? How can the senior center and trustees work better together?
Okay. As I don't really know too much about it, I haven't been as a trustee, so all the stuff behind the scenes, I'm not privy to that information. But it is part of the trustees that does run and take care of the buildings for the fire department and senior homes. The current fire department, I went and talked to them a little bit, talked to some of the people on the fire department. They do need more people. I think it would be great to have try to go out and get more people to come in and be volunteers. It's kind of hard. The fire department, as they talked to me about, basically, everything they have is pretty much up to date. They feel very confident with the equipment they have, which is good. And like I said, they have a couple things that they'd really like to get, which I think we should be able to work with them about that, especially the one piece of equipment for the thermal imaging. And he's going to cut me off here in a second. And the senior center, if we could all get together and if you have questions, come to the trustees so people can talk to you about it. That's the biggest thing, open communication.
Next we have Jim Svoboda.
I believe that the trustees do take care of the senior hall and all the big problems that they arise with all the time. The fire department is probably going to, I've been to a couple of meetings in Graceville before the building burned down. They're talking about maybe merging. You know, like we got all new equipment. We probably got the best equipment in Trumbull County, one of the best places. But we're lacking manpower. Southington's got the same problem. If there's a fire, you're lucky to get anybody to come out. If 7 o'clock tomorrow morning your house was on fire, you'd have to call for aid, and that's not real good. But we don't have the people. So what are you supposed to do? You know, that's the problem. But, if they would, I don't know how they could do that, and eventually we're probably going to end up with a paid fire department because. Thank you.
And they're off.
Next is Martha Yoder. You didn't leave you guys a hold on me back there. I apologize.
I think our first step in dealing with anything with the fire department is that we need to have the trustees show respect to the fire department. There's animosity there, and it doesn't need to be there. We need to act like adults. There's no good reason that we had to go from April until now, until tonight, before we appointed a fire chief, except for people's personal animosity. So we need to get beyond that, and once we get beyond that, we need to work together to explore what we can do in the future. As far as the issues with the senior center and the responsibility there, it's unfortunate. We don't have an existing lease between the trustees and the senior center board. We need to get that resolved. We need to sit down as trustees and as the board of directors for the senior center and iron this out. Because we're going to keep running into things like who pays for the leak, who pays for the bathrooms, who pays for what, as long as we don't have it spelled out. That's just good business practice.
Next, we have David Bland.
As far as the fire department, I think the manpower issue, with having to serve 120 hours to 240 hours, is going to be very difficult to get a normal citizen today working the hours they do to come in and be a fireman. I would like to say one thing as far as their equipment. The equipment I've seen there in the last 10 years is state-of-the-art equipment. I would like to personally thank the firemen, the current trustees, Jim Svoboda, Wes Martin, and Kevin Bontrager, and also trustee Mr. J. Allen. That equipment will probably be paid for within, I would say within the next year. I'm not sure on that. As far as the Senior Citizen Center, it is governed by the Board of Trustees. And ongoing, like I said in the first speech, I'd like to do something to generate manpower, but on the same token, I don't know how to get people to join.
Next, we have Kevin Bontrager.
Current state of the fire department, aside from the lack of volunteers, is very good. We have some very well-trained people there, quite some of the best in the area, and we certainly have the equipment to make it perform. It's just, like everybody's saying, it's a matter of getting more volunteers to come out, and training is the worst part of it. The only piece of equipment we're looking to replace anytime in the near future will probably be these. So we've already discussed what's in place. So that's down the road. The senior center, I think the trustees have always worked with them. It's usually been 50-50 share on cost for repairs or maintenance. And that's something that will probably continue to be that way. We train the police together at some point. Straighten that out.
And next, we have Steve Burbach.
I think the state of the fire department went a big step forward today by hiring a chief. It's been a long time we went without a chief. John was acting chief, but still, there's a lot of turmoil in the fire department, you know, with what's going on or whatever. So a big step forward today, and I applaud the trustees for getting that job done today. The senior center, there is no lease. The trustees obviously have been taking care of it, and the senior center has been splitting the cost with them. There does need to be a lease taken on there. We need to keep the senior center. I agree with Jim. That is a very good place for everybody to go. You don't have to be a senior citizen to go there for breakfast on Monday morning. So, but today was a big step forward in the park. Thank you. Mark.
Okay, folks, we're on to the next question, and this time Debbie Gotschall will go first. What is your opinion on the county maintaining township roads, and they would like your thoughts on Clayland Lakes, ditching, Larson West, and Curtis Middlefield?
Okay, I would love to see the road come back to the township. I'm not in favor of the county having it. The roads, Clayland Lake does need, they do have some issues in there. I don't know exactly, I think Clayland has its own road thing, and I don't know if the trustees, if they could try to work with Clayland and vice versa, and maybe we can get something accomplished there. Larson West, and that's one of the biggest issues we've been talking about last few months, and Curtis Middlefield also. They can't maintain them very well if you don't maintain them. Keep putting gravel on there, keep a base on there. If you have nothing, you're not going to have anything. Get the ditches done the way they're supposed to be, so you have the right drainage, and then move on from there.
Next, Jim Svoboda.
Read the question one more time.
What is your opinion on the county maintaining township roads, and they would like your thoughts on Playland Lakes, ditching, Larson West, and Curtis Middlefield.
My thoughts with the county is probably one of the best things that was ever done. We never had any ditching done in 12 years because we don't have a grade out, we didn't have the right equipment. So now, if you call them, they might not get there instantly, but they will be there, and they seem to do a good job. But in order to make it work, a lot of the people, like Debbie, she's not for that. But overall, I think they've done a good job for us. They take care of plowing the snow. We don't have to worry about any workers, and there's a lot to it. Paydays, that money, I think we were saving $12,000 to $15,000 a month. But, you know, we got to pay that to them. It's not free by any means. But, so that's my opinion. You know, you got to work together, and if they don't, you can't have nothing.
Next is Martha Yoder.
You should ask all the questions at one time.
As far as the county having the roads, and people talking about we want to take that back, there's one problem with that. We signed a 5-year agreement last year in August. So the contract is for 5 years, isn't it?
Year by year.
It's year by year. All right, it's year by year.
It's renewed in January.
Okay. Well, I thought it was 5 years. They said it was 5 at the trustee meeting. I have mixed emotions. I do live on one of those township roads. I live on Bradford Road. So I know what the roads look like. I think that the county has done a decent job in some ways and not in others. I was under the impression it was a 5-year contract, so I'm a little discombobulated here. But I think whatever we do with the roads, we need to involve the citizens more than we did in this initial contract. We need to make sure that those people who are affected have a voice, and that the priorities that we have for
Next is David Land.
Yes, I also have mixed emotions on county versus us taking it over too. I live on Larson West, and I can remember when it was nothing but a dirt road. There is tons of traffic on it now, and I think the only way you can make it right is to start with a new base underneath, which is very costly. I think the county, in essence, has, when the repair is done, I think the repair is better. The timeliness, I do have a problem with because I don't think they're out there as much as they were when we were independent. Could you address the other part of that question, please?
What is your opinion on the county maintaining the township roads? And then they wanted your thoughts on Playland Lake, ditching, Larson West, and Curtis Middle.
Yeah, ditching would come with whatever the county or we do if it comes back to us. I was under the assumption that Playland Lake was totally in their own realm. Or am I wrong on that?
You're right.
Yeah, I mean,
It's on entity.
on identity, yeah. And I guess that's all I have on that.
Next, Kevin Bontrager.
First, I think with the county taking over the roads, it is overall, I think, benefited us in the long run so far. It is a year-by-year contract, so if an issue comes up and it becomes a problem, we can choose to go the other way at some point. I know personally I've received a lot fewer complaints from residents. I used to get complaints almost constantly at the store. I get very few calls now. And when I do call the county, they're usually out within 48 hours to take care of it. Playland Lake is a private home. We can't do anything there. There may be something down the road that we can work out through the county
as far as the county taking over the roads, from when I've talked to the county engineers and the workers there, if we had our own road department and we needed a piece of equipment, they would bring us the equipment. They wouldn't charge us to bring it, they wouldn't charge us to use it, they would charge us for manpower to use it. And that's how we could get things done. So we can get our road department back. I also, on the playland issue, I know they got some money through the Shale, or I believe they did. They're trying to get their bridges fixed and some other things done. So when the bridges are fixed and everything, then if we did have a road department, then we could talk about going in there and taking care of the roads out there. That's one thing I'm for. So playland could be part of Farmington again, but the bridges have to be taken care of on their part first. So I talked to a few people and they're thinking, they're trying to get it done. So, thank you.
And next is John Spelich.
Okay, on the county engineer and contract services, overall, I think they're doing a good job. Needs tweaked a little bit more. Needs the funding from the fiscal officer and from the board of township trustees has to be sought after a little bit quicker. Randy Smith and his people can do just as much as they can with the dollars that the township expends them. So if you have a contract for $150,000, then let's get that $150,000 working on roads that really need it. Playland Lake, you're right, it is a subdivision of its own, okay, but years ago, and this board here should also take into consideration giving them emergency services for their roads and the time of high snow and emergencies. And also they should take a look at hydrants, dry hydrants for Playland Lake, because they do have enough lakes in that area to give fire service to those areas.
Okay, we're on to the next question, and this time, Jim begins. Sorry.
What's the question?
When you get there, I'll
When I get so,
I love you, Jim, you know I
thank you.
What are your feelings of the Trumbull County Board of Health?
Well, we're going through that at my mom's place right now. We're putting a new septic system in. We've been about 11 months. We had the contractor. We couldn't get an okay. Then they give us an okay, then they said no. So we messed around for several months doing this. And finally, we got the septic in 2 weeks ago, and we got an okay from the health department. You know, they got laws they got to follow too. I mean, yeah, you get mad because of it, but that's necessary. That doesn't mean that's right. But I think they've done a good job for us. And now what we have to do, we have to get a permit from the EPA now to make sure that it's going to pass the EPA codes. And who knows how long that's going to take. But it's all about the money. You know, that's, yeah, it's all about the money.
That's right. Blackmail.
Yeah.
Next, we have Martha Yoder.
I think I need a lot more than a minute to talk about the problems at the Board of Health, but I'll just say that there are problems with inconsistent enforcement. There's corruption there. We know there's problems there, inaptitude. And we need to replace the Board of Health. And how we do that and how we can affect that as trustees is that the chairman of our trustee board sits on the district advisory council and they vote on who becomes the Board of Health. So it's really important. That's one of the important things that we do that can affect that. So if I'm elected, whether or not I'm chairman, I will definitely push for and encourage a change in the Board of Health.
Next, we have David Bland.
see all over the township in Farmington. I've seen 4, 5, 6 septic systems put in. Not one of them is the same. Some need chlorinated, some don't. I know they're trying to update the standards of what people are putting in, but it's costly for the community, it's costly for the homeowner, and, you know, I just hope ongoing that we can do something to try to alleviate some of that inconsistency and get more down to the standard.
Next, we have Kevin Bontrager.
The Board of Health has many issues, as we all know. It's common knowledge to most people. It's in the paper, it's on the news, lawsuits are filed. I mean, it's a disaster right now. The entire Board of Health needs to go away. They need replaced, plain and simple. Through the DAC, with the chairman of the Board of Township Trustees for every township, city officials, they get the vote on those people. And we need to start replacing the existing people. We've tried, we just haven't had enough votes thus far. Hopefully we can make that change in the future.
Next, we have Steve Burbach.
I have mixed emotions about the Board of Health, because it is one Board of Health, but I deal with them in 2 different sides. With the concession business that we're in, they do a fabulous job. When I did purchase the house that we're in right now, the septic was 3 years old. They came out and they failed that. We ended up having to do by $1,200, $1,500 worth of work to it, to getting it up, and they finally passed it. Or that house would have been sitting. That's the problem I see with the health department. They're failing these things, these septic systems, and the houses are sitting there empty. But on the other side of the health department, the food part of it or whatever, they do a nice job. They're out there every day at the Trumbull County Fair, Portland Street Fair. That part of it does not need to be replaced.
Next, we have John Spelich.
The only thing I can say is if you have issues with the Board of Health and its members, then attend their meetings,
Or come down to the office and talk to them.
or come down to the office and talk to them. They have an open door policy.
You work for him, John.
All right, no disruptive behavior.
What do you mean by
John,
that?
continue to speak.
Let it go, John, let it go,
I work for them.
let it go.
You
I
know
work
what-
for him.
You know what I know.
I'm employed
People
by
in
the
the
board.
audience, please be quiet. John, continue to speak.
I'd like to address Martha's accusation about corruption down there. Will you speak on that, Martha?
It's your turn to speak, John.
I'm done.
Okay. We're on to the next question. Oh, I'm sorry, Debbie. No, I didn't want to show you. It's okay. I'm glad.
There are problems at the Board of Health. But them things didn't happen overnight, and it's not gonna go away overnight. And then, like everybody said, the septic systems and that, yes, you could have one pass 1 year, and 2 years down the road, it doesn't pass. But there's not too many septic systems out there that can pass whether it's brand new or old. So, we just need to get together, and when it's time to go down there and go to meetings and stuff like that, see what they've got going on, and listen, and then make informative decisions, and move on from there.
Okay. The next question, Jim, you will begin. Do you support the municipal government? I'm sorry. Okay, Martha will begin.
Hey, Shirley, let me ask you one question.
I've been standing up too long. These shoes are pinching my
Let
toes.
me ask you one question. Are we gonna be done before it's time to go to work in the morning?
Yes. What time is it? I was actually thinking we'd go to about 8:30 and then let them do their close. Do you want to go to about 8:45 and let them close? Okay, is that good for everybody?
Is there any questions that anybody specifically would like to really have answers to?
Oh, there's like a stack, like
There's
six,
a whole
there's like
stack of
16,
questions.
there's like 16
There's
questions.
no
that are-
shortage, but the next one is a pretty hot topic, okay? Do you support the new school levy in Bristol and why? And do you have any thoughts about the old elementary building in Farmington?
Regarding the school levy, before I answer that, I want to caution people not to base their vote on trustee either way, because this is we all have different opinions on this, and we can respect each other, I believe in this. I personally am voting no, and the reason I'm voting no is that the levy that's been asked for the new building, the enrollment figures that the state gave are lower than what they're basing this building on. And I think that the state's enrollment was based on a study, apparently, but no one has given me an answer on what the school board's enrollment is based on. I think it's unrealistic to expect enrollment to go up. We have a lot of people that choose other options. They homeschool like I do. They do charter school. They do open enrollment. There's so many other options. We have 200 kids, Amish kids, that go to Amish school. And so we can't expect, it's unrealistic to expect our enrollment to go up. And, I can't remember the rest of the question.
How about the old?
Oh, the old elementary school building. That's a really unfortunate issue. And there's no easy answer on it. A private party owns it right now. It looks like it may end up being condemned. I wish that we could have saved it.
Next, we have David Bland.
Yes, I personally will support the school issue, because when I was brought up, my folks taught me that someone put them through, you put your kids through, and so on. As far as the old school building, I'd love to see it stay. My dad tried to fight for it 30 years ago. It was renovated once, and then when we consolidated, we lost it. It's a sad situation. I'd love to see it back. How to get it back, I don't know. What was the other part of that question, Shirley?
Do you support the new school levy in Bristol and why?
Yeah, I did that. Was there something?
You got it.
You got both.
Yeah, I thought I missed one, so, yeah, I would support the levy.
Next is Kevin Bontrager.
I'll address the Farmington building first. It would be really nice if it could be gotten back as a community center or be used as something for the town. But realistically, right now, the price they're asking for is way too high. I know there are people that are working on a deal to purchase it. Hopefully that'll work out. We'll do that for a while. As far as the school levy goes, I'd like to support a new high school for the students, but I can't support the levy that they have on right now. I think there's too much involved in it that we don't need. We don't need a brand new gymnasium, and that's one of the biggest costs that the state does not cover funding for engineering. That comes strictly out of the taxpayers' dollars. So I vote for the school levy.
Next is Steve Burbach.
I am for the school levy, two main reasons. The first main reason is safety. The old building, you can walk right into it. There's no way to find out. I walked into it, it was right after, it was the day that Sandy Hook went on. There was a pep rally and I knew coach at the school. I walked up to the building, I had my key out. The kids walked up before I got there and unlatched it. There was no way to know that that was unlatched. The door was unlocked. It was that very day. The heating and the cooling in that old part of the building, and I heard a statement from somebody we had one of the meetings, well, we got told to deal with it. Well, back then, you could open the windows in the building. Now, the lower levels of that building, you can't open the windows because of safety. And there's no air movement in there. The Farmington School building, I would love to see something done with it. Unfortunately, as bad as it's gotten and everything, I don't see anything happening with it. If someone did come up with something, I would be right there helping them try to get it done.
Next is John Spelich.
In favor of the school levy. Did a tour last weekend over at the school. Wish a lot of other people should have, could have. And you really see what you got there. The old section from 1918 should go, has to go. The old tower has to go. Spread it out. These kids are our lifeline, and we gotta save them. The old school, gone. Can't do anything with it. We looked into it. It was broken into two again a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and they demolished everything that was left. We had a police report done on it, and it's basically done. The best thing that could happen to it is just save a brick and let it go.
Next is Debbie Gotschall.
It's hard to stand here and say whether you're going to be for or against Bristol Boone High School. I went to the walkthrough Saturday, and there are things that need to be done, but I'm also going to vote no, because I think there are other things that can be taken care of and the money can be brought down. And like Kevin said, the gym can stay, because that's 100% us to pay. Anything beyond what the state says that they take care of is what we have to take care of as taxpayers. There's a lot of things that I thought was pretty good with the old school. And the walkthrough was very nice. As our old school in Farmington, I'd like to see it made into a community center or office or something. I hate to see it because it's a part of our community, it's a part of our history, a big part of our history. Many, many kids and people from this town have walked through the halls of that school, and I hate to see it go.
Next is Jay Svoboda.
I think the new school is good, because we need education. That's what will rule this country, is good education. But there's another problem. We got economy problems. Who can afford to start paying another $100 a half on your property taxes? That's a lot of money. A lot of people don't think, they say they want the school. Everybody wants everything, but the bottom line is you better have the money, because that's only a little bit of it. Because when you think they're done, if it does go through, they're not done. They're going to be putting something else on, an operating levy or something else. They were saying something about it. The one room upstairs was bad or something. Well, let them go in the gym. Have a class in the gym. Let the kids carry their lunch. Put them in the cafeteria and have a class in there. We carried our lunch for years. Didn't hurt me, and I'm sure a lot of you other people did too. So, time to stop.
Okay, folks, the panel has several questions here, but this one has been selected for the last question, and David Lamb will go first. If elected, what would you do to ensure zoning violations are addressed and corrected to ensure that the eyesores of the community are cleaned up?
Just read the front part of that.
Sure. If elected, what would you do to ensure zoning violations are addressed and corrected to ensure the eyesores of the community are cleaned up?
The answer to that, the first thing we have to do is appoint someone to take care of those issues and enforce the issues. That's the only way we will be done.
Next is Kevin Bontrager.
I think with our current zoning inspector that we have for the township, we are making headway in that area. He has taken care of several problems for us already, and I think he will continue to do so. He's very knowledgeable of the law, and he is working with us on the property now. So he is doing the best he can for a one-person operation, and he has our full support in his interest.
that's a relentless job, going out there and telling you got to clean your property up, or, you know, get rid of some vehicles or whatever. But if I'm elected, we would have to take and prosecute and take it to the furthest extent of the law to try to get our community looking good. For the most part, I think we are doing a good job. There's a lot of nice looking places around here. You drive up and down the road, you see a lot of people out there mowing their grass, planting flowers and everything. And I think it sort of spreads. When someone keeps their house looking nice, the neighbors want to keep theirs looking nice. So we get rid of the few eyesores, job be done. But that's got to be a relentless job. Telling Joe over here that he needs to get rid of his trucks when Jeff over here has got the same stuff, but he might have license plates on everything that's legal. It's always going to be a fight. Thank you.
Next is John Spelich.
Well, I'm the Joe that tells them what to do with it. I'm the zoning inspector for the village. And touring the township, while doing my door-to-door, I see that there is quite a few problems in the township with zoning and regulation of that. The zoning inspector hasn't got enough time to do what he's doing, Kevin, Jim. What you have to do is either have an assistant to him or give him more hours to do what he has to do. I agree with Steve with going to court. Sometimes that's the only way to do it, okay? But that road is long, okay? It's a long tote to go. It's not real easy. With the zoning problems we have in the village itself, it's been ongoing with a couple of people with that. But you got to be consistent with it, and we don't go after them, and we continue to go after them.
Well, it's a backward community.
Next is Debbie Gotschall.
I think we can all probably agree at one time or another on everything everybody else says. The zoning is a difficult situation. I was on zoning in the village for a while, and sometimes you can sit there and go over it and over and over it, and you beat a dead horse, and it's not easy. But getting things cleaned up would be a good thing. And you can't do anything against zoning if you don't have people telling you. I've heard people go, well, this is going on over here, this is going on over here. Well, you have to communicate with the zoning board and the trustees and let them know, because they don't know what's going on in their backyards, because they don't go all over the town. So again, there's a communication. And if you could tell and let people know what's going on, so they can go out there and check it out and let them know for themselves.
Next is Jim Svoboda.
I believe the zoning inspector we got right now for the township is far better than anyone we've ever had. I think the problem is when they cite a guy, they go down to court in Newton Falls and they smack him on their left pinky. They don't do nothing to him. So they come back and they think it's okay. I know there's a couple places in West Farmington. If the health department would come down there, just ask them if they'd like to stay overnight in that house and see what they have to say. What I'm saying is, nobody's abiding by the rules. I don't know, that's all I gotta say.
Next is Martha Yoder.
I will echo that Gordon is doing a good job. He's doing the best that he can. I actually spoke with him tonight and asked him how he handled this. If he just did it by complaint or if he's driving around. He's driving around. And he actually said tonight he drove around and he found 2 other places that he was going to start on. But it is a process, and it's going to take a little while. As Deb mentioned, if there's a specific issue, you need to report it. If you have a problem, instead of just bellyaching to your neighbors, come and talk to the trustee or call Gordon. Gordon's very easy to deal with. He's a very nice person, easy to deal with, and he'll talk to people and he'll start the process going. We do need to prosecute if it gets to that, if we get to that point. But there's steps that we have to go through. But certainly we do need to enforce the regulations that we have.
Thank you, candidates, for answering the questions. We're going to have 2 minutes of closing for each candidate now, and I ask that you don't leave when they're finished closing because we will introduce the panel. The panel wants to shake the candidates' hands. And then afterwards, please, even if you take something to go, we do have some refreshments over there. And they're not all going home with me. So we're going to start with the closing statements, and Kevin Bontrager will begin.
I think we covered quite a few of the main issues tonight, and at least got to some of the questions that people had. I'd like to say, if anybody has further questions, most of you know I'm at the store pretty much 7 days a week, and I know you can reach most of the others on the phone, stop at their houses and talk to them, and appreciate your support. Thank you.
Next, we have Steve Burbach.
One last thing that I didn't get to say in my opening speech, I would love to see everybody get along. There's so many different charities and groups and organizations that are trying to do something nice in Farmington. And this one won't work with this one because this 10 years ago this happened, or 5 years ago this happened. If everybody would just work together, the whole township would just be a better place to live in. And that's one of my goals if I am elected, is try to get everybody to work together. Thank you.
Next is John Spelich.
Just one thing is, there's been comments about the community itself being backwards. It really isn't. You got hardworking people that love the community, that have been in this community for years, for generation after generation after generation. We lost that school over there. Let's save the school over here. That's what we have to do. What I'd like to see is elected, work for you, the community, as I did 20 years ago, or 20 years, several years ago, and I'll be there for you. Thank you.
Next, we have Gotschall.
You said we were back.
Did I miss someone?
No, we're back there. We're working on it.
Okay.
No, we didn't.
Just don't trust me.
I guess this ends the money for tonight, and I think we're all in the same league, want to help the community. And if you have questions or concerns, or even want to ask me any more things of what my views are, what I'd like to try to help you, please feel free to do it anytime. I think the best thing that the trustees could do is we need your support too. There's so many people that don't come to meetings, and I've been there for a year and a half, and so many people have questions. And it would be wonderful to see more faces there than just a handful that have been there for so long. I could basically count on one hand, and that's sad, because we have a community that wants so much and would like to see so much done, but it can't be done if the voices aren't heard and you don't say anything. So I would appreciate, even if voted for trustee, I would like to hear what everybody has to say, because you are the community and we are to serve you.
Next is Jim Svoboda.
Hey, I believe that the community should be united more. I do believe that everybody should do a little bit more on their part, including me. I'm not perfect, I make a lot of mistakes, but I am honest, and I'll give you a square deal. So I'd appreciate your vote, and we'll go from there. Thank you very much.
Next, we have Martha Yoder.
I had a completely different closing prepared for tonight, but then I had a conversation with a longtime resident of Farmington. And our conversation was mostly about Farmington, the way it used to be, the way it is now, and what it could be in the future. But we took a little detour in our conversation. We briefly talked about a mutual acquaintance who's facing cancer. I remarked that I admire this person a great deal because she has a positive attitude and a fighting spirit. And the woman I was speaking to said, you can't beat cancer without that. And she would know because she's beaten cancer a few times. Each of us as individuals, when we face adversity, we also face a choice. We can sit back, give up, and quit. Maybe even curl up in a little ball and wait to die. Or we can stand up, square our shoulders, and fight. Our community faces the same thing. We have adversity here. We have challenges and we have hurdles that we have to face. We can sit back and give up. Maybe even watch our town die a slow death. Or we can stand up, square our shoulders, and fight for our town. I want us to fight for our town.
Next, we have David Land.
Yes, we have a great community, great people, let's all work together, and I will support the issues I addressed. Thank you very much.
We have a round of applause for all of us. I'm going to have the panel introduce themselves, and the reason I selected these folks, asked them to help us, is because one thing that they all have in common is we believe that a well-informed public has a better chance of making a good decision when it comes to politics. Okay? Amen. If you would please introduce yourselves, and then you can walk down and shake hands with the candidates, please.
Hi, I'm Kay Sly, and I am not running for trustee. I live in Mesopotamia. I plan to run for clerk someday, and my kids go to Bloomfield, but I hope your levy does what it needs to do for your kids.
I'm Roger Peterson. I'm a Bloomfield Township trustee. I applaud everybody for coming out tonight. To have this much interest in running for political office is phenomenal. A lot of great questions. I feel really bad that we didn't have more time. I mean, we had probably a stack of 18 more questions, but I can't be here till midnight. So, but thank you very much for your participation. Thank you for being civil. I'm going to shake the hands, but it's going to make me think of high school graduation.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Patricia Hale from Sheridan, and I'm happy to be here today. I'm a lifelong resident of Trumbull County, and Shirley's right, a well-informed public, voting public is necessary. So I applaud you all for coming out this evening. Thank you.
I'm Bob Johnston. I'm from Warren Township, and I'm impressed just seeing hardly any empty seats in here. You people have got a nice town. I was only here once. That was this past fall to run a marathon, my first ever. Surprisingly, I finished. The people I met here were fantastic. You people have got a great little town here, and you should get together, work together, and keep it together.
Some batting cleanup. My name's Randy Law. I'm your former state representative from a few years ago. I was very impressed with the questions, going through them all. A well-informed group, many issues. I think it hit most of the important ones. We tried to summarize a couple together to get to all the points. I appreciate everyone coming out. And trust me, I really enjoy sitting on this side of the table. I'm watching that 7 of them squirm a little bit. They did a fantastic job, and I give them all a hand. They did a really good job.
I just want to say one last big thank you. I I was amazed when I said we're gonna do this because different people in the community said that we needed to, how fast it came together because so many people were willing to help, including these folks. And I also want to thank the candidates. I know some of them were nervous as a cat on a hot tin roof coming in here and sitting in front of everybody, but thank you, job well done. Like I said, folks, please enjoy some of her refreshments, even if you take them to go. Thank you. Thank you, Shirley.